I have a halo with light and a particle system, and there are even bones in the little cracks. But how do we make this to be gone on start? But I can toggle it. This is something I would say it's one of the most things done in VR. When you click on your avatar, and this is now a bit difficult, and just lean back and look at what I show you. You don't have to do anything now. I just want you to understand more what your avatar is capable of. For example, when we scroll more down, then you see your eye movements. You could say I'm more an excited being. I put that more to excited, or also I'm shy. That means that my character will avoid more than, because I have such a slim femboy appearance, so the character will avoid to look into people's eyes more, something like that, So, but when we go down, this is the important section. We have expressions, and we have these playable layers. And this here is the whole magic of your avatar. And if we go into this, when we have something like base, then this here is the locomotion layer. When I double click on it, then you see something like that in your animator. The animator is like a book, and an animation is something that can be written in that book. This here means just on entry, the orange means is the default way, and this goes in standing, because you will usually stand, and you can go from standing to crouching, or back to standing, or you can go from crouching down to prone, or back to crouching. These are the ways, and when you click on these little arrows, then you will see conditions. When upright is less than 2/3, then you're obviously not longer standing, and you go to crouching. And when it's even less than 0.4, then it's not even any longer crouching, but it is proning. This is the locomotion layer. Locomotion layer is kinder, what is your stand? How do you stand? And for example, when you click here on the motion, when you see there a little trident, then that means it is a tree. It is kind of a blending between different animations. And when I click on it, then I can click here, and then you don't need to understand everything. I'm just saying, yeah? I just want to give you some basic understanding of what all this stuff is here. So usually, this here, you see, is named different than the other things, because I changed it. You see here kind of different animations for different states. When you're, for example, when I click here and click on it, you see that you have a direction in which you are crawling. But usually, when you click through all these animations here, yeah, something that I don't like, I really don't like in VR, is that this is the standard when you're sitting on the ground. Everyone sitting on the ground without full body tracking looks like this, with the legs behind. And I'm always like, why? Am I just dumping poop now here, there, or what? I sit on my buttocks, And that's why I went in here and changed to this fancy okay, that was standing. Prone. This fancy animation. But for full body tracking users, you know what? You don't care about that. Because as a full body tracking user, your legs, your hip, or even more, is so or so tracked and animated by yourself in real time. Motion tracked, kinda. These animations are for people with non-full body tracking and not the fancy new Quest estimation where you are in the room. But if you want to change that, this is where you can. But be careful. Always save your work, make copies of it or something like that. Because especially in the beginning when you don't know what you do, sometimes you might change something and never know what you have done. But I hope that this helps you at least a bit. The base layer we had, and then the action layer. we look, because the gesture override is not very important. Gestures are your hand gestures. That is, everything here is just a VRChat thing, kind of. The action layer is this thing. I know it looks spooky and you just want to quit the video now, but we just see this is kind of the locomotion, but when you are in action. So when you're moving, you know, you can go in a sit. You can go in AFK because you just turned off your headset and is activated. And you have here kind of blends between the states, like preparing to stand and something like that. You know, all the actions. The only thing that is interesting for you is maybe sit. How do you want to sit? You know, that could be an animation you want to change. And these three down here is an AFK animation. And you might want to set up a completely custom AFK animation, you know? Maybe you go into your avatar and think, huh? Everywhere is just default. Yeah, just click on default and then you can set your own layer. So, but the really important layer is FX for effects, kinder. It is the FX overriders, and that is kinder every animation that drives your avatar in a custom way. And that is where we need to set up that this halo could be gone. Also, this FX, when we go up on the controller, set it there too. Because then, always when you click on your avatar and go in the animator, then this is the animator you see. You have these different layers here. And when we want to make something for the halo, we just click and call it halo enter, and then we see here halo. So we created an empty thing that have an entry and an exit. This is one of the most common errors when it comes to animating in Unity layers for VRChat. You see that this nose edge and head pad has a light gray line and the halo a dark gray line, and that means that the halo will not function when we upload it like that. You have to click the cogwheel on the right and then set the weight from 0 to 1, drawing the little ball on the slider up to the right, because it is like an activation. In VRChat, everything that needs to work needs a weight of 1. Different gaming solutions can demand to use those weights of different layers of animations, depending on how you code. But if you do anything on avatars for VRChat, turn the stuff you want to use to 1. The only reason to set such a layer to 0 is to deactivate a layer without deleting it. So you can just putting the layer back to 1 at the point you want to have it back without having to set it up again. Just right click, create state, empty. Now we have a default state that we will ignore. Then on entry, we don't want to do anything. This is a toggle. So it needs to be casted whenever, but not on entry, not on entering the avatar, on the world or anything. But this is important, the any state. Wherever you are in the state, it can be casted from here. So another one, empty. We are fancy in just calling it halo on. Yeah. And then right click, make transition to that. Right click, make transition to exit. Because we should not just get the halo, but also get rid of it. Yeah. Then we go into the parameter tab up here and we create another parameter. And we call it bool. These things are kind of float, are numbers with a decimal. Int are numbers. But bool is just on or off. And that's everything we need. This is like halo. That's it. And it's usually off. On, off. So here, on the conditions, bam, we just set halo true, then is on. and if halo false, exit. That's everything. Sounds easy so far, yeah? But it is way more annoying than that, yeah? But it's not complicated, it's just annoying. We go here in the halo folder, and there I create a new animation and call it halo cast, because that sounds cool, like a spell. And then I drag and drop it when I clicked here in the motion, and now it is able to cast this animation. That is not set up so far. But if we go to the animations and we are on our avatar and I click here in the drop down, then there is the halo cast, and that does nothing so far, of course. So the halo is on the head. We look armature. A little trick is you want to see your halo even if it's part of your head, because usually you can't see your own head, yeah, in VR. Also very easy. You just put it on your neck, but then parent it on your head. Parent constraint. It's just add component and search for parent constraint, and this. Don't click on is active, click on activate. It will set it automatically. So everything is in here what we need. So we click here on the record button. We sync in the ground. And then we click on this button and it's gone. Then we click again on the record button to stop it and on preview to stop the preview. And now we can just turn off the halo and it's gone. But you see here, now we have the animation track with one keyframe, and we click it here on activate, because now it's per default deactivated, but here it will be activated in the animation. And that is the animation that we needed to set up this toggle. But how can we toggle with our menus? So the menu need to say the animator halo on. You need to be able to toggle that on and off. Halo. Best is just Control C to copy that, because it need to be the same word that value has there.